Hey, Aisha, R.H.Jones, certified success and financial literacy coach. Want to hop on really quick and just talk about my juicing journey and how I got started. I had someone ask me that today, and I'm like, you know what, that would be great to just kind of share about how I got started, why, what it's done for myself and my family. So just going back over 10 years ago. Yep, it's been 10 years. Started off with my daughter being sick. She had what was later diagnosed as chronic urticaria. So I'll break that down to you. Basically, it's an autoimmune disease, which means your body is attacking itself. And it started from, well, basically the symptoms of it was like chronic itching. She would describe, my daughter would describe it, she was 10 at the time, as mosquitoes biting her. Um, it was so bizarre. It was like we couldn't figure it out. She missed a lot of school. I ended up quitting my job. I had people look at her and say, "Oh, she looks fine." And that's the unfortunate thing about autoimmune disease, is that sometimes you can look good, but you don't necessarily feel good. I mean, we'd be up in the wee hours of the morning with me just kind of trying to console her, make her feel better, rubbing her back. And I'll tell you the different things that we tried. We did allergy testing. We found that she was not allergic to anything. We visited a total of 25 doctors, 2 ER visits. Two of those doctors, I believe, were holistic doctors. And in my quest and my journey, I learned so much. I did start looking into ways to manifest healing, and I found out one way that you can manifest your own healing, because the body is self-healing, is by focusing on joy. And I'll talk about how she eventually did heal. But before I do that, juicing was one of the things we looked at. We watched this documentary by Joe Cross called Sick, Fat, and Nearly Dead. I think I said it right. Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, something like that. You can look it up, search it. It's probably on YouTube. And he had the same disease as my daughter, or sickness, illness as my daughter, called chronic urticaria, which is basically chronic hives. And he actually went across town juicing. He juiced for 2 months straight, like just straight juice. Now, of course, with my daughter being 10, we couldn't do that because it's not recommended that you do that unless you're 18 years or older. But it was one of the things that we implemented into our regimen, meaning we juiced we juice like once a week, and the juice usually lasts about 72 hours. So we would have 3 days of juice, and we ate food. Now, fast forwarding, I posted a reel recently that showed a juice journey that we did for 30 days straight. Now, this was once she turned 18. No food, just straight juicing. We lost, between myself, my daughter, and my husband, a total of almost 100 pounds. Okay. And the transformation, it wasn't just the physical, it was, like what you can see on the outside, it was the inside. Like we noticed our skin change, our mental clarity. There were so many benefits, even a health ailment that my husband was dealing with. When he had his numbers rechecked, the doctors asked him what was he doing, because like things were reversed. So it's a really good thing. The juicing, I want to talk a little more and pause on the juicing. I did start a juice group on Facebook for people they just don't know where to start. I do intend to do like more recipes to kind of show what I juice and how I juice. But the golden rule with juicing is 70% veggies, 30% fruits. But I'll tell you, it's really changed my life. I actually, it's late here where I'm at, but I'm gonna juice tonight, just because I need to get it done, get it out the way. I have some fruits and veggies that I bought that have been sitting, and I don't want them to go bad. Let's talk about, and this could be a part two, but I'm gonna go ahead and share just because I'm on here. So with the chronic urticaria piece, some of the things we did was we did acupuncture. I was a parent, and any parent can vouch for this. When your child is sick, and you don't know what to do, it makes you feel helpless and hopeful. Helpless and hopeless, excuse me. So I went into my prayer closet and just started asking God for guidance. Like, what is my role? What am I supposed to do? I had some Facebook groups that I joined, and a lot of parents had been dealing with that with their kids for years. A lot of people had been, like they were more in an acceptance state where they would take the medication. But for me, the medication that my daughter was given, it made me almost feel like she was a zombie. And so I started telling her I would be her advocate. Just tell me what makes her feel better and what makes her feel worse. But the ultimate goal was for her to be taken off of medication altogether. And so we started doing that. And that was like where the juicing and the acupuncture, our diet change. We did the GAPS diet, looked that up. It's gut and psychology syndrome, which means your gut and your mind is linked. And here's how she got it, because that was the biggest thing. I'm not a medical doctor, of course, but what I found out through research was she kept getting strep throat. We're from California and we moved to Texas when she was only 2. And my kids, when we lived in California, never even knew what strep throat was. And so it was very new, but she kept getting strep throat. And so we kept um, giving her antibiotics and steroids without giving her probiotics. We didn't know anything about that. And it was like all the good and the bad bacteria, because antibiotics do not discriminate, were being killed, but she wasn't being replenished with that good bacteria. And it was like, then she started getting these her small intestines, their junctions, they kind of started opening, and then the food starts seeping through and it start attacking her body. Okay. And so all these different things we did had started to help, because the goal was to heal her stomach. But I'll tell you one thing that really, really shifted for us throughout everything we changed. The juicing was good, the acupuncture was good, the GAPS diet was good. Prayer was everything, because it led me down the road of God giving me direct answers instead of me going into the groups, and I really wasn't finding the information that I needed. We took a book, we watched The Secret. I'm sure if you haven't heard of The Secret, you can look it up. And we just start focusing on joy attracts healing. Okay. So instead of us walking around our home, continuing to talk about her sickness, we wrote down a date in our journal of when she would be healed. We got pictures of her being healed in perfect health, and we start thanking God for her perfect and divine healing. So this took place for 18 months of her being sick. In that 18-month of her being sick, we did this. We wrote it down. We start thanking God for her. No matter how she felt, we did not discuss the sickness. We did not say she was sick. We just said, God, we thank you for her perfect and divine healing. And we wrote down a day. She wrote down a date, and I wrote down a date in which she would be healed. And in between that date, which was 2 days later, of both of our dates, she was healed. And that is my story on chronic urticaria. She had a relapse because I quit my job and I came home because I was determined. I'm like, she was not born with this. There has to be a cure. I would not accept that she would have to be on medication for the rest of her life. So to parents, when you advocate for your kids, just remember they need that, And so I had it in my head that she was going to be healed, and there had to be a solution. Like I said, I found out so many different things I learned about health-wise in that process, just being a mother determined for her child to be well and not have to deal with that for the rest of the rest of her life. So long story short, because I kind of lost my thought there. But long story short, the focus was on really shifting our mindset away from the problem to knowing that not God could, but God would heal her. And like I said, she had a relapse twice. She ended up going back to school because I homeschooled her that year that she was that solid year that she was sick, and half the year that when she first got sick. So she went to school that first year that she was sick, and then she was missing so much I had to pull her out and homeschool, and then a full year I homeschooled her. But when she went back, she kind of start eating certain things, and we noticed that it was certain things that she just could not eat, and it wasn't because she wasn't allergic, it was just that her stomach wasn't all the way healed. Today she can eat whatever, she can do whatever, no reaction, she's perfectly fine. But the point is that our words are so powerful. Our words are very, very powerful. So I know I kind of dumped in a lot of stuff talking about, health, juicing, chronic urticaria, just having faith so big and really so small, the size of a mustard seed, right? And so that's all. I just wanted to share that. I'm going to hop off because I need to go ahead and go juice, but I do want to share more about juicing because it is life-changing. I talked about weight loss too, and how that really helped us when we did the 30-day cleanse, and my phone is going crazy. So that means time's up. All right.